My mom was against me getting a degree in social studies, so that's why I've started a YouTube channel to prove her right. That's why we're all here, so bring in Ivy Levine! Come on, give it a kick! Live long and prosper, multi-fandom. The name is NZNBRG, and I'm still a scum. But at least I've moved to St. Petersburg, so now I can be a scum in an appropriate place. Imagine that you were born in a place which never had close relations with the other countries, was never involved in any melting pot process, and is situated far enough from the capital to be considered the closest real-life analog to the wall of the Game of Thrones. Now, for the record, the Russian Federation unites nearly 200 ethnicities, and some federal entities use 2 or more languages for administrative purposes. But the paradox is, even though the people can be so different that they consider each other aliens, and the issue of inner xenophobia still stands, as long as they share one language, they are quite okay with coexisting.
Блин, как отсюда проехать до вокзала?
Иди, поехали, иди.
Сколько? Нет, 300 много, не поеду, не.
Икеюсь.
Икеюсь? Поеду.
What's more curious, most of them are completely taken aback meeting a person who doesn't speak any of the languages of our country. Excusez-moi, madame, j'ai perdu. Je cherche les groupes de mes amis. Господи, это же иностранец! Вы видели это иностранец! Что же делать? Господи, что же делать?
Притворись мертвой.
Madam? There are at least 2 reasons why this is happening. 1. The majority of Russians doesn't travel much and has less than satisfactory knowledge of foreign languages. 2. There is no such human of any gender or age whose ass can be big enough to be compared with the size of my country. To form a cheesiest joke possible in this video. So not so many people from overseas travel further than that little European part of it. The number of tourists has recently shrunk to the minimum as well. Don't even know why. Aggressive external politics, homophobia, xenophobia. So much to choose from. So any foreigner who suddenly appears in the center of any Russian heck knows where's will is considered to be a hallucination, or if they're as real as this table, a suicidal person. Excuse me? Waiter, yes. Could you please get me a decaf espresso and probably a carbonara pasta and...
Послушай меня внимательно, странник. Чтобы не привело тебя в этот ужасный край, беги и никогда не оборачивайся. Беги за всех нас, Форест. Bon appétit.
Even the thought that someone might willingly buy a ticket to this place seems surreal, and it doesn't help at all to realize that those are the same pieces of meat flesh as we are. Like seriously, they're either out of their minds to choose this place without having a gun at their head, or maybe they have a magical curse and room or something hidden under their clothes. By the way, that might be a real reason why everyone is so eager to get in your pants in Russia. Now when you know it, don't think too much of yourself. And hide that thing somewhere else. Maybe it would help you with the customs service as well. Now, all things listed above make a foreigner in the further parts of Russia an extraterrestrial creature with some kind of authority by default. And those who thought that the part with Bratislava in the Eurotrip movie is funny have no goddamn right to judge us. What's more embarrassing, in the desire to preserve that fragile creature out of the dangers of the environment, many Russians go really ridiculous in their hospitality. I've heard a lot about Russians being way too eager when they're hosts, but basically, the reason is simple. Most of them are just effing scared of the possibility that their guest might snap out of the confusion, realize the horror of the situation they're in, and make an epic skydive right from the table they're sitting at. It's not like it ever happened though, but I actually never asked. Now, how to deal with it and keep your hands off this poor little soul trapped in a wasteland. The one and only thing you should know, people are all the same, sharing universal character traits not depending on their upbringing. Being a nice person, an asshole, a professional or a dumbass are the characteristics which can be applied literally to anyone regardless of their age, race, nationality and gender. And that should be the only criteria that matters actually. So people only deserve a special treatment if they are really awesome. Story time. While studying linguistics and cross-cultural communications, I've had my share of lectures given by some foreign dudes. Once we had there a Swedish professor which was about to read us some useful methodology stuff. Everyone was losing their pants out of anxiety. Me, I was annoyed and sleep-deprived like I always am, and didn't care much, even though I was a little curious. So we were put in a tiny room like the entire faculty. There was no sitting places, but I was soothing myself with the thought that a specialist of this grade definitely has something useful to tell us. And guess what? It's either our own professors that were really talented, or just him being a lazy bum, or even a stuck-up old bag treating the students of Federal State University like cavemen. But he didn't bother himself telling us something innovative. He just kept on telling us obvious things, and we were trying our best to keep straight faces. Too effing bad for you, sir, I thought, and had the time of my life saying it out loud, but in a bit nicer words. Me and some biggest nerds in the neighborhood were trolling him mercilessly, and that was literally the only satisfying thing about this lecture. And this is when I've learned my lesson. No one deserves to be an authority by default unless they prove it honorably and honestly. Belonging to a country that may have higher scores on different charts of standards of living than the one I've grown up in doesn't make you superior above me or anyone else, as well as your wealth, job, school and diploma. If you keep on thinking that I can't provide myself with a decent internet connection made out of bears' insides and Tuvan shamans' tribal songs, and Googled the basics of methodology and teaching myself, your ass is going to be thoroughly whipped and you will be the only one to blame. There, I've been keeping it for a couple of years. What a time to be alive. So now I require your marvelous stories on the issue and kindly remind you that if you want even more complaints and confirmations that you are not as bad person as I am, hit the hell out of the subscribe button and I will not disappoint you. Even if I won't have any desire to move my ass and make another video, you'll be convinced that you would make a more decent vlogger than I am. In case you're a vlogger, of course. If you're not, then kindly piss off and leave me alone to decay in peace. Quite a nice way to spend your time, highly recommended. So, see you next time, and good luck.
I hope you die in a fire. Hope you'll be stabbed in the heart. Hope you'll get shot and expire. Hope you'll be taken apart. I hope you die in a fire.
A person may willingly buy a ticket to this place is surreal. Those are the same message. But one, sorry table.